welcome to Champlain Park High School. It's homecoming week in the land of the Rebels, and tonight a volleyball matchup as the Totino Grace Eagles pay a visit here to take on Champlain Park. Hello again, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Carl Katzenberger, the head coach at Minnetonka, and a tremendous start to the season for Champlain Park. They've really taken a big step forward this year, off to a 10-1 start, and everything pretty well clicking so far for them.
Yeah, as we discussed before, that Roseville win right out of the chute was a great confidence builder for them, and I thought they did a great job of just sustaining that momentum throughout the first part of the season.
For Totino Grace, they had some graduation losses from last year. A very strong program typically. A little bit of a slow start this year, but they're hoping that they're getting some momentum and putting it together here at midseason.
Sure, and with the athletes they have at Totino Grace, they're always going to have a chance on any given night. The coach mentioned that there was some getting to know you and, some earlier unfamiliarity that they were dealing with. And, the beginning of the season's a great time to get that out of the way.
Certainly some good players on the court tonight. We're going to pick out a couple to talk about our key players for this evening, starting with Totino Grace. When they need a point, they're usually going to look at Hope Schiller.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a great bet in crunch time that Hope Schiller is going to get targeted for Totino Grace. And, she's a great all-around player, but certainly their bell cow on offense.
And for Champlain Park, we're going to talk about a player that's been in their program for a long time. Maria Sampson has really just made her game better and better as she goes, and now as a senior, she's really good.
Yeah, absolutely, and as a high school volleyball coach, you hope that over the course of their high school career, they just improve at every facet of the game. And, as a 12th grader, Maria has certainly put together offense, defense, blocking, footwork, and she's a very, very formidable player both sides of the net.
It's the start of a busy week for both of these teams, and they've got some important ones, conference matches coming up later in the week. But they still have to be reminding themselves, we can't afford to look past this one tonight, Monday night, to start it out.
Yeah, kind of a rare treat, Monday Night Volleyball, and I think both teams have big weeks, and they're going to want to get some momentum and get some confidence heading into Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
All right, Totino Grace won the matchup last year. Champlain Park's had a better start this year, and they're hoping to continue it here this evening. The Eagles and the Rebels, high school volleyball coming up next here on 12 Sports.
A Brooklyn Park church received some unwelcome visitors this past weekend.
Volunteers really do have their work cut out for them. They'll be inspecting 23,000 residential lots and city boulevards.
The problem began when the railroad decided to increase the train's speed. In the process, they had to raise a portion of the track over here.
Fire crews got a call around 4 Friday morning from a passerby alerting them to a deck fire.
This time, little lob for Winicky, trying to go up and get it. Touchdown!
Osseo, Crystal, and Plymouth. Channel 12 is your local source.
It's intercepted. This one looks like it could go for the touchdown.
Reed whips it away, and Hopkins advances.
Hello and welcome to a new season of Sports Champ. Channel 12, your local source.
And welcome back here to Champlain Park as the team's being introduced to the crowd here this evening after we got a chance to hear who all the Rebels' favorite teachers were and a little recognition for the folks that work with them throughout the day and before they go to volleyball practice. I think that's what it's known as, right?
Teacher night.
Pre-volleyball practice. Is that what the rest of the school day is known at for most volleyball players?
For most players, certainly, yeah.
See Champlin Park. Interesting talking to Coach John Yunker. He said, perfectly honestly, we've maybe come a little farther, a little faster than we expected. This is his third year with the program, and definitely expected to have a decent year, but they were down a ways in the conference last year, down around 6th, 7th place in the Northwest Suburban, and they still got some tough ones upcoming. They haven't played Blaine or Osseo yet, especially, but there's a look at Coach Yunker, and he said, it's maybe happening a little bit quicker than what we thought.
Yeah, without turning this into a backhanded compliment to John and Champlin Park, but I think Coach Yunker has done a fantastic job, and he's done a lot with a little as his baseline to start with. He's done a great job kind of working with the younger kids and also integrating the upperclassmen that were here during the previous regime, and I think they're in a great position to have a fantastic season.
Totino Grace, a team that, as we said, did knock the Rebels off a year ago, and when you become accustomed to winning, it was interesting talking to Michelle Hockersmith, saying, and there's a look at Michelle saying, kind of frustrating start just because they're typically haven't been below 500 at this point of a season very often, but she said we had so many. The previous couple of groups had played together so much that you kind of forget that that's a big part of it, and that they didn't have necessarily completely this year. So look at our starting groups for these teams, starting with the Eagles. Hope Schiller, Aaron Hopat, Laura Eichens, Olivia Cruiser, Emma Schultz, Eliza Dolly, and their libero is Madison Kraler. And for Champlin Park, Frances Wayrock, Hannah Krimble, Maria Sampson, Janae Alderson, Sydney Hilly, the Dynamite freshman, Shelley Peterson, and Peyton Studelberg. And we are underway. Both teams are in white. Totino Grace is on the right side of your screen right now to start it out. Champlin Park on the left. Overpass there. The Rebels weren't real aggressive going after it. Now it'll allow Grace's Schiller an opportunity, but denied by Sampson. Nice job to get to it, though, by Sarah Kastenmeyer. Here's Sampson, and that one is blocked back at her. Laura Eichens getting the block here for Totino Grace.
Great job by Totino, and it seems like their game plan might be centered around make us beat or make the other team beat us with somebody besides their best player.
So the Eagles score first. Sampson will send it to the outside for Krimble, and that one sneaks its way home. A little off speed to the middle of the court, and then we're even up at 1.
Yeah, Sydney is such a good distributor that even if Totino Grace tries to take away or minimize Mario or the outsides, she has another option on the right side there.
Tough ball for Schiller. Oh, it crawls over Sampson. Had to react, but we're going to get a
center line violation.
Yep, came with the foot underneath. Just difficult ball to read as it crawled over the net right there.
Yeah, that standard between high school and JL volleyball is certainly different. JL volleyball, we have a center line violation can only occur with the entire foot. The high school standard is a center line violation can occur with any body part that's completely across the line.
Schiller wide with the serve, and Sampson will now serve for Champlin Park as we're even up at 2 early in the first set. They go quick middle there, but Hilly there to get it going for Champlin Park.
How about those shoes on Janae Alderson?
Hard to miss her out there in the pink shoes.
It's a great block there across the front of the net. Totino certainly is going to do a good job of trying to minimize the attack at the net and make it easier for their back row defenders to try to pick up behind it.
Alderson will take a swing here for Champlin Park. That one denied in the middle. This time they'll come out to the outside. Another strong block getting over there. Caitlin Kearns for the Rebels with the block. And we're even up at 3.
Both teams with strong play across the net, and that's a coach's dream right there, is you work real hard in making sure you help your edge defenders by setting the block correctly.
Brenna Walton serving it here for Champlin Park. Run down here by Sampson. He set it to the outside, but it's blocked. Well, we've seen a lot of good blocks early on. This time Opat trying to take a swing and couldn't get it past Alderson and company.
Well, it looks like Champlin Park is running some kind of hybrid offense, a 3 middle perhaps, and they're taking advantage of Sydney Hilly's setting and hitting talents, as it looks like she's going to be hitting on the left side while she's in the front row.
Tipped home there by Cruiser for Totino Grace, and we keep trading points back and forth here early going.
Out of this rotation, I would expect Hilly at the pin or Janae Alderson crossing the center and hitting out of the middle.
Caroline Shermone serving here for the Eagles. They'll come to Alderson on the right, and too strong with that one. Didn't really get on top of it here, and Eagles will get a point on a miss hit there.
Yeah, Janae had a good swing at this one, and she's trying to go high hands there and missed the block by a fraction of an inch.
Sampson will roll it to the middle. Eagles able to scramble and get to it as Schiller got on the floor. Here's Hilly. Pounds it home, and she'll get the kill. Hilly, obviously known as a setter, but as Carl said, not bad as a hitter as well.
No, Sydney is a fantastic athlete and a well-rounded player, too. And I think this is pretty good coaching by the Champlin Park staff to utilize her talents both as a hitter and as a setter.
They work a little slide to the outside. Sampson able to get the pass over to Alderson. Eagles have to scramble here. That one might have been headed out, I think, but Sampson played it. Now Hilly will not take a swing. She'll roll it to the middle, but the Eagles are ready. Schiller missing wide as she was trying to be a little too fine going cross court with that one.
That back row attack for Schiller is a weapon. It looks like the set might have just been a little bit misplaced. Schiller got caught off guard and got forced into a hitting error.
Hilly will come over to Krimble. A little off, so she had to play it over. The tip down the line, and it will be a net violation against Champlin Park anyway, so score the point for the Eagles to even us up at 6.
It's a strong play by the outside there for the Eagles, and she's got a tight set against the big block. She finds a way to score. Very efficient.
Sarah Kastenmeyer serving now for Totino Grace, trying to break a 6-6 tie here. They'll come to Hilly, and that one just catches the line for a point. It was close, but it's in. 7-6 Rebels.
Yeah, we mentioned Hilly with her skill set as a hitter and as a setter, and the best comparison we could come up with is her upside could be that of like a Jen Bowman, dating back to the Osseo powerhouse teams there.
Schiller able to pound this one home off the net. From what I understand, a lot of college coaches, including the University of Minnesota, already talking to Sydney Hilly, so definitely a player to watch.
Absolutely. In my humble opinion, Sydney is the best setter in her class in the state of Minnesota.
Sampson cross court but missed, and a point for the Eagles.
All apologies to the 9th grader we have sitting at the Minnetonka varsity right now. She does a fantastic job, but Sydney is just a very, very dynamic leader and setter.
They'll come to Sampson again, and this one is blocked by Laura Eichens. Her second block for a kill early in this match, and a 9-7 lead now for Grace.
I think it's pretty clear that Coach Hockersmith wants to identify Maria Sampson and get that block aligned properly as to stop her and try to slow the ball down so their edge defenders have a better chance of making a play.
Rebels had trouble passing that ball and then kind of got caught in the middle with nobody going for it. So the Eagles building a 3-point lead and trying to stretch that as Rebels looking a little bit shaky here as the first set has gone on. Here's Schiller. Sampson will roll this one over off the block. Middle for Eichens, but missed that one wide, trying to go to the corner and missed it by about a foot.
Comes Frances Wyrock into the game, and Frances is a sophomore, and she's kind of like this Swiss Army knife for the Champlin Park Rebels. She's really good at just about all the skills.
And Hilly misfires on the serve, and not able to get any momentum going as they get the serving error, gives Grace a point. Eagles back up by 3 here, and Ishans will serve.
Definitely a 3 middle alignment for Champlin Park, and what that means is they're going to play 3 different players at middle blocker over the course of 6 rotations, and that lets kids like Maria Sampson get some swings on the outside. It lets kids like Janae Alderson get some swings at the pin. It's a very athletic set there by Totino Grace, and a great cross-court shot to find the winner. Izzy Summers getting that kill for the Eagles. Champlin Park looks a little bit tentative here on a lot of balls in this first set. I think the ball control has been better on the Totino Grace side, makes the setter's job easier, and then by extension makes the hitter's job easier. Back for Schiller, and she's able to put it home again. Eagles taking command a little bit in this one now, leading at 13-8. We were trading points 1 for 1 early on, but now Grace has put together a little bit of a run. They've just been that little bit sharper, a little bit fewer mistakes than the Rebels have had so far. Coaches refer to, your play and your tempo as kind of flow, and I think that game flow for Totino Grace is certainly better. Timing is better. Communication's a little better, and posture is a little bit better over on the Totino Grace side. And those are 3 things that at the varsity level we really want to see happen. And those are 3 things that any team can outplay the other at, is communication and posture and activity. Things like that is you don't need to be the best athlete to be the best at those skills. Well, these teams will be meeting on a more regular basis, presumably starting next year, because Totino Grace has been placed in the Northwest Suburban Conference. The North Suburban's going away, and got a couple of the teams, Grace being one of them, along with Spring Lake Park and Irondale, will be added to the Northwest Suburban. So I haven't heard anything official yet, but I'm guessing we're probably going to end up with a 2-division setup. So it's a possibility they won't always play each other. There's Sampson pounding that one home, and the Rebels kind of needed one like that. Not only a point, but a point with a good swing. Absolutely. It's a great play there to kind of stabilize the offense for Champlin Park. Let's set that ball high to Maria and just let her be a better athlete and outjump everybody on the Totino side. Grace answers immediately, though. Laura Ishans has been a good weapon early on here for Totino Grace. She leads their club in blocks and 3rd in kills coming into tonight's match. Schiller to serve here for the Eagles. See if Champlin can put together a little run here with Schiller in the back row for the Eagles. And that one's pounded home by Erin Opat. And Coach Hockersmith said she really, talked about how her 3 captains, being Emma Schultz and Opat and Schiller, have really helped to pull this team together. As we said, hadn't played a ton together, all of them anyway. Oops, we had a stray ball get out onto the court. You notice on that last play there, Maria Sampson had to honor the backslide pin hitter, made her be a little bit late coming over to close the outside, and Opat found that hole and just hit a really, really nice shot, deep zone 5. That's a very, very good ball, and will score just about any varsity match she plays in. And Schiller serves up an ace here, and that's not a huge surprise. She leads their squad in aces, 26 of them coming into the match, and Grace has looked solid here in the opening set. Yeah, we call that the gravity balls. When it comes over and gravity just grabs it and decides to throw it straight down to the court like that. It's a very, very difficult play to make when the server is going that aggressively on a float serve. Sampson getting the kill there. Schiller trying to dig that one up. It got caught up in the ceiling a little bit and threw the Eagles off, trying to follow the flight of it here. So Sampson will serve. They need a run right now if they're going to stay in this this first one here, trailing at 16-10. Net play real strong for both sides. I mean, we haven't seen any net violations called yet, and we've seen very, very few blown blocking assignments. Wayrock with the block there, and the Rebels pulled to within 5 now. Tough pass there, but it got there and then put away. They've been a little bit slow to cover when Opat's been hitting from that left side. Pretty impressed by Opat right now. She's not getting cheated out there. She's taking a very dynamic approach, and she's hitting high. That's the key, is to get that arm up to hitting position. And if you get a running start as a hitter and the blocker has to stand there static and hit, you should win that more times than not. Long run for it here for Hilly, and they'll have to play a free ball over. Grace
opportunity to score here. And we get a net violation against Champlin Park.
Yeah, that was the middle blocker there, just a little bit aggressive, and that's Murphy's Law. As soon as the announcer jinxes it with no net violations at this point, instant whistle.
Aishin serving with a 7-point advantage here for Grace. Hilly dumping that one over and able to get the serve back here for the Rebels. Another thing that Grace has done well, just by extension of playing well, is they really haven't allowed any runs to speak of for Champlin Park.
Yeah, runs are huge in high school volleyball. If you can sustain a run of 3 or more points a couple times a match, that's very, very, very difficult for the other team to counter.
Nice floater by Brenna Walton, and the Rebels back to within 5 now at 18-13. Again, their margin for error gets a little less each time if they aren't able to cut into this lead anymore. And that one's going to be too strong. Good eyes and communication there by Grace, as it wasn't that far out, but far enough that they were able to spot it.
Maddie Krayler and Hope Schiller did a great job of back shuffling to the line, putting their foot on the line and forcing the line judge to call the ball out by their body positioning. That's a very, very fundamental play and really well done there by the Totino Grace serve receive package.
Schiller, and that one is denied as Hilly times it perfectly.
Sinead Alderson and Sydney Hilly there, great timing. They're really keyed in on this back row attack from Hope Schiller. They understand she's a threat both in the front row and the back row.
Yeah, it might have been more Alderson there on the second look. They were both there.
Schiller again on the back row attack, which sets up an easy counterattack. Rebels are able to run middle in system. That's that game flow part we were talking about earlier, Jay, is controlled ball, okay, well done by the Champlin Park ball handlers, and then in system, ready to set that middle on the quick attack.
Kearns getting that kill for the Rebels, and then this one dumped over, just kind of a unfortunate one for Champlin Park. So 20-15 now. Grace hitting the 20s here, and Kastenmeier will serve it up.
That setter dump is so prevalent in high school volleyball, and if a team could take that attack away from another team's setter, and just have it as a free ball essentially, they would be well on the way to minimizing any cheap points. Coaches hate roll shots, tips, and dumps, and things like that.
Ball went long, but was tipped by the Eagles, so a point for Champlin Park, and they are within 20-16. Peterson serving here for the Rebels, goes down the line. Good pass on a ball that was tough to get to.
Great job by Maddie Krayler and serve receive. Great aggressive swing by Hope Schiller. Probably getting the ball again here. Maybe over line. Roll shot. Very nicely done. Very efficient hitter, Hope Schiller. She sees the court well and is able to place the ball. She wants to end the rally. That's a trait of great outside hitters. They're not hitting just to hit in the court. They're actively trying to end the rally.
They'll come to Hilly, and that one is good. Delivers a strong swing from the right side there. So 21-17, Champlin Park down 4.
Very dynamic athlete. This is a good spot for Champlin Park to maybe make a run. Hilly serves aggressively. They have Maria Sampson along the front row. See if they can minimize the Eagles' attack and get a counterattack. Here's Weirich with a swing. Dug by her 8th grade JO volleyball teammate, Maddie Krayler. Interesting, Janae Alderson also played on that team in 8th grade. So there's some friendly rivalry happening there, I'm sure.
Schiller hammering it off Sampson's attempted block. So 22-17, Eagles they are closing in now and trying to wrap up our opening set here as Emma Schultz will serve here for Totino Grace.
It's a dangerous spot for Champlin Park. Certainly need the ball back soon. And they got to get Hope Schiller out of the front row if they have any hope to win this game 1. Great cover by Totino there.
Sampson had the block, but the Eagles kept playing. And now Sampson has to roll that one over. And sometimes better to be a little lucky than good there. She made a good recovery on a ball that couldn't really do anything with in terms of timing it to get a strong hit. But once in a while, that'll work out for you.
That's a difficult set to work with, certainly. Overpass coming here. Alderson with 2 hands puts the ball away. Maybe one more, and Hockersmith's got to think about a timeout for Totino Grace. They have just this one rotation of Hope Schiller in the front row. Next time they sat out, she's going to go back to serve.
Studelberg serving it up here for the Rebels. Here's Schiller. Studelberg able to dig it out. And
wow, first ball handling violation here.
Double contact there, and so the Eagles will score their 23rd point. Schiller to serve here.
Schiller's very likely going to go after Sampson and the seam between the libero here.
You called it. Now Alderson skipping that one off. Nice job to get on the court there by Cruiser.
Great push by Maddie Kraler. Fortunately, that set went a touch wide to Tino Grace, the hitting error. Ball touches the pin. Any part of the extended pin above the net or even at the net level or below, still an out call by the referee there.
Sampson to serve, her team down by 3. And went for the corner with that floater and missed it. So 24-20, Eagles with a chance to wrap it up here. Ishans to serve. Hilly will come to the middle with it.
Great counterattack dig there.
Yep, Schultz doing the job. Solid block put up in the middle there by Kearns for the Rebels. And they're not done yet, 24-21.
Interesting to see where Totino's going to go with the ball now. They have 3 hitters in the front row, setters back row, and Hope Schiller is in the middle back right now. Will they try to run to the pin, or will they try to set some play where they free up Hope Schiller coming out of the pipe, hitting out of the back row?
Walton with a floater for an ace, 24-22.
I think I do a little better job on serve receive there. Maddie Kraler is going to really be asked to step up and deliver a very settable ball here.
To the outside for Opat. They'll come to Hilly. Off the block, but Schiller gets there. Back to Opat. Cross court and missed as the Rebels' Caitlin Kearns unable to keep that one in, and Totino Grace wins a thriller here in the opening set. 25-22 Eagles our score. We'll be back with our second set here. You're watching high school volleyball action live on 12 Sports.
Behind the wheel, there is no such thing as a small distraction. A public service reminder from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons. Speak out against distracted driving at decidetodrive.org.
And now, another adventure with Savings Man.
This is great. Every day should be like this.
It will be when I retire in a few years. I've been planning and saving. Did you save for me?
Well, this is unexpected.
Where'd you come from? Out of the blue, just like an illness, an emergency, or
That's enough, Mr. Unexpected.
Savings Man.
There's still time to plan. Find out how at choosetosave.org with a ballpark estimate worksheet.
I will. Thanks, Savings Man.
No, thank you.
So visit choosetosave.org today.
Welcome back here to Champlin Park High School along with Carl Katzenberger, the Minnetonka head coach. I'm Jay Wilcox. Totino Grace, 25-22 winners in the opening set here. Champlin Park comes in with a sparkling record, and I'm sure they may be a little caught off guard by how well Grace played that first set, I think.
Yeah, we talked about a couple things to look out for at the beginning of the match, and one is the look-ahead factor for the Rebels. And they've got a big match tomorrow night against Blaine. And although the coach has, I'm sure, enumerated many times, listen, guys, we got to worry about the team in front of us tonight. You know, that's always a possibility as the team is subconsciously looking ahead to the big match tomorrow night. Trivia question, Jay. The team I mentioned, the starting libero for Totino Grace, Maddie Kraler, played on a JO team about a year and a half ago with the starting middle, Janae Alderson, and her pink shoes, and Frances Weirich, another player for Champlin Park that's been in the rotation tonight. The coach of that team, if you had one guess.
I'm thinking you.
That's why they pay you the big bucks, Jay. That was a great team. Those are really nice kids, good athletes, And they're showing off their skills at the varsity level here, as 10th graders. That's pretty rare, for schools of this pedigree. So
we'll see if the Rebels come out with more fire in the second. I'm sure as a coach, it's a little bit of a fine line. Do you want to jump on them, or do you want to kind of put a smile on your face and boost their confidence back up for the second one?
And that's how well the coach thinks his team is going to respond to either. And John is a very capable coach, and he could have gone either way there. I was noticing the body language of the Champlin huddle during the game break, and it seemed like the message was, and I guess I'm inferring by body language, guys, let's take care of our side of the net. Let's do the things we need to do, and we're going to be just fine.
Ball was tipped, so score the point for the Rebels on the swing by Sampson.
There you see that 3 middle offense working again as Sampson gets some swings on the outside. Now Weirich comes in, and Sampson's going to come back in the middle.
Hilly with the serve. Here's Schiller.
Great
firing
shot.
away and puts it home.
That's what we call that look-away line shot, is Schiller's coming from the outside in. Okay, and you see her approach, take her from outside the court to in. She'll turn that thumb up and slide that ball down the line. Very, very effective volleyball shot.
Here's Schiller with the serve here for the Eagles, and
what a rundown. Wow.
Just barely kept that one up. Set tight to the net there, and it ultimately led to a block, but they'll get another crack at it. They go outside, and the lefty Keely Miller coming through with the hit.
There's another staple attack, is challenge the outside hand of the blocker. That's the weakest part. And if you can successfully, aggressively challenge that outside hand, more often than not, something good is going to happen for you as the attacker.
I'm guessing Grace was a little caught off guard by a lefty being over there, too. I mean, I know I wasn't expecting it until I saw her approach coming.
Yeah, I always think the lefties are using the wrong hand, just like they're showing off or something. But apparently there's a thing called ambidextrousness. I'm sure that's not even the word, but I doubt that's in play. Looks like a really strong left-handed approach, really strong left-handed attack there.
Serve was just wide, so the Eagles get it back here. Laura Eichens will serve now for Grace, trailing at 3-2. Hilly comes to Sampson.
Great dig by Schiller.
Schiller got underneath it, but just couldn't quite control it, and Sampson will get the kill off the assist from Sydney Hilly.
Doing a good job of moving Sampson around. She's taking some swings on the outside pin. She's taking some swings in the middle, and there's one on the right side pin.
Opat having to tip. Good recovery made there by Kearns if she was coming down.
Uh-oh.
Scramble, and Opat's going to have to just send it over here. Hilly coming back out to the right side. Oh, a nice block there by Opat. One-on-one block, and she got it done.
Really impressed with Opat so far this game. She's been efficient. She's had some kills. And then this is a great play here. Her middle kind of leaves to go honor the middle. Opat's up by herself, turns that ball into zone 6 with her hands and her chest. Very, very well done.
Dolly with the serve. Now they come to Alderson, and Kraler able to play it while almost getting eaten up by that one up high.
Sampson on the pipe.
Sampson. Opat will tip, and the block is good. Drops in there from Kearns.
Really impressed by both teams' play at the net. I mean, they are absolutely taking their blocking assignments seriously, and they've really done a good job of stopping a great percentage of balls right at the tape.
Rebels leading it by 2. Tough pass into the net there. Now Hilly gets a swing. Schiller able to pull that one up. Opat looking to roll it to the middle. Alderson, a big swing, but Kraler gets underneath it for the dig.
Great dig there by Maddie Kraler.
And Hilly says, dig this. No chance.
Well, I tell you, there was the rare instance where the Totino block was certainly out of sync. See the middle coming way late, and you got a truck-size hole there for Sydney Hilly to power that ball through.
To the outside, and that ball hammered home good by Cruiser.
Very nice shot. And again, we're challenging the outside hand of the block there. Lots of good things can happen. Running the slide here. Sydney Hilly's outside hand was challenged. Couldn't quite get to the pin. Great kill.
6-4 lead here for Champlin Park. Here's Hilly cross court. Sampson will push it toward that corner. Now Schiller rolling it to the middle. Rebels were backing off to respect the power and left a pretty big gap in the middle.
That's what we're talking about with that efficiency. Schiller sees the court so well. She hits that knockdown shot in front of the middle back, looking to actively end the rally every time she swings. Very impressed by her tonight. And
an ace from Kastenmeier will even things up at 6 apiece.
See how often that Totino Grace challenges the seam between Sampson and the libero on serve receive. I can imagine they would go back there because they had some success in game one doing just that.
To the middle and pounded home by Kearns for Champlin Park.
Good quick attack, and I think Brenna Walton's been doing a great job setting the back 3 rotations when Hilly's in the front row. Have not noticed a significant drop-off in setting location at all.
Here's Schiller and able to drive that one home. Alderson couldn't quite get there, and we're even up at 7 apiece now.
That's a tough assignment for Alderson, as she's not asked to do a ton on the left back defending, and there's just a great shot by Hope Schiller, and Alderson pushed just a little bit behind the pace of that ball. Second ball handling violation tonight, and this one is going to go against Champlin Park.
Walton says that was on me, my fault. So Grace goes back in front now at 8-7. Kraler serving again here.
Maria Sampson's been doing a very good job in serve receive. I'll be honest, they are challenging her, and she's acquitted herself very well back there. Not asked to do a ton of ball handling in the club season, and even in the high school season up to this point, Coach Junker is trusting her with a lot of serve receive reps, and I think she's doing a great job.
And that'll drop in. The Rebels go back in front now at 9-8.
Interesting that Schiller is out of the serve receive package right now. She has short ball responsibility. Does a good job with that. Transition, here she comes.
Cross court, and
I think that missed by about a ball on the outside. Schiller hit the tape, try to go for that hard cut shot. You'll see her thumb gets pushed down as she swings at this ball to try to send the ball across court. Unlucky, hit the tape, and point for Champlin Park. Looks like the Rebels return the favor with an error there, served long. It's going to give Totino the ball back, down just 1.
Schultz in to serve here for Totino Grace. And here's Hilly pounding it home.
Yeah, it's a cool serve receive package they have there. As Sydney Hilly can come out of any slot, comes out of the left, and she can come out of the middle, and they set her that second tempo ball, all the while still having to respect Sampson at the pin. It's a really well drawn up play there.
Here's Hilly with a tough serve. Eagles cannot get it. And 12-9 lead here for Champlin Park.
Go back to that game flow issue we touched in game 1. Looks a little disjointed on the Totino side right now. The ball control is not there. The timing is not there. And unfortunately for them, they didn't need any ball control. The ball's about 6 feet out the baseline.
Hilly got a little bit overexcited, I think. So it'll be Schiller to serve here for Totino Grace.
For Sampson coming out of serve receive right up the middle. Probably a short set. Great swing. Powers through that double block.
13-10 lead now for the Rebels. As you see, they didn't quite get that closed, and Sampson able to hammer it home for Champlin Park.
Yeah, Totino was certainly ready for that. They had scouted that well, and unfortunately, they just couldn't get those hands across the net to seal and keep the ball on the Totino side.
Studelberg serving here for Champlin Park, trying to build on a 4-point lead.
Tough ball for Hilly here.
Dug it out of the net, and they'll at least keep it alive. Opat firing.
Even tougher ball for Hilly there.
And they couldn't quite Sampson reaching back as she was falling off the edge of the court there a little bit. 14-11 now. Grace with the serve and back to within 3.
Probably looking for Sampson at the pin or up the middle again out of this serve-receive package. If the ball is out of system, ball very likely going to Alderson on the outside.
Sampson tipping and able to, now we had a net violation, looks like, anyway, on Totino Grace.
Yeah, this is a great job of the Rebels by using Sampson on many different looks and many different slots here. They run her behind the setter. She sees the tip open. If you're going to give it to us, we'll take it.
And serves it too long. The Rebels have shot themselves in the foot a few times with serving errors.
I think they're running out of feet to shoot.
It's really hurt, their momentum. There have been times when it looks like they're going to really kind of build up and get a good run going, and then unable to put the serve in play.
You mentioned that earlier, Jay, about the runs, and if you can't sustain a run and if you can't stop a run, it's going to be really difficult for your team to establish any momentum in the rally scoring format.
Tip to the middle, and Kern's able to send it over. Schiller. Now Hilly will come out to Alderson. And was this one tipped? Yes.
That's a tough ball for Schiller in the middle back, as her instincts told her the ball's out. Unfortunately, she had committed to trying to take that ball overhand, and it can't fault a player for trying to be aggressive and play anything close. Unfortunately, she was about a split second too late on that decision.
Opat has it blocked, but is it out? Yes, it's out.
Yep.
Eagles went for it, but it didn't hit her until it had hit the floor. So
I tell you, Opat is been a very, very pleasant surprise as a source of consistent offense tonight. And I haven't seen Totino play a lot, but if we had a match against them tomorrow night, certainly be a kid we'd have to account for, because being very, very efficient to this point.
Astenmeyer's serve diving to the court, 16-14. Eagles to within 2 on that ace serve, and that's a part of the game that they've done a little bit better than the Rebels here tonight.
It's a gravity ball again. It comes over the net and all of a sudden just falls. That's one of the many reactions you can get while serving that float serve. The best way I can equate that to is a knuckleball in baseball. Is you throw that ball with no spin, and the ball just does what it wants to. It behaves very erratically, and that's the advantage to that particular serve.
Hilly a little bit too long going deep middle there, and now the Eagles have a chance to tie it up.
Attacking that seam between Sampson and Libero again on serve receive. Here comes that leverage thing we're talking about. Schiller off the great set to the pin. He's going to get another chance here. Fortunately, she grazed the top of the net on that block attempt.
So score the point for the Rebels there.
Right on the tape.
The Eagles were excited. They thought they had that point.
Tough ball here for Tino. Going to send it over. Advantage Champlin Park. Another great block there by Totino.
Cruiser doing the job that time, and then this hit is wide of the mark. And so once again, Grace is back to within a point here at 17-16 and have a chance to tie it up here as Kraler will head to the service line.
A great deal of this comeback has come with Sampson in the back row. Champlin Park has got to figure out a way to get her rotated up to the front and be an offensive focal point for the rest of this match.
Solid block by Eichens, and the Eagles even things up. I like their composure here in the second set. You might think it was a bit of a surprise perhaps if they came out and won the first one, but when they fell behind, you never got the sense that they were starting to panic or anything.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of the team trying to find themselves. And there's a coach saying that says adversity tells you who you are as a person and as a team. And, certainly the Eagles have faced a little adversity in the first part of the season. And it looks like they're going to find an identity here tonight when they're behind. They're going to see if they can be the same team ahead as they are behind. That's a very, very good quality for a team to show.
Serve almost called over the net, but not quite. So it's a point for Grace. We're at 18 apiece as Schultz serves it up here for the Eagles.
Sampson back in the front row looking for the ball in the pin. Great job at the net again by Totino. They're going to get a free ball here. Looks like Schiller on the pin. They run middle quick.
And it does not pay off there. The timing wasn't quite there with Ishins, and her hit goes way too strong.
Pretty well-designed play there. As you can see, Sampson late on closing the block as she has to honor Schiller on the pin. They had a hole to work with. Unfortunately, that ball got caught on the hitter's wrist a little bit long for the Eagles.
Schiller. Battle at the net here, and play goes on. Blocked again. Punched over, and now the Eagles will get a crack at it as Schiller. Rolling it to the middle. Hilly gets there. And that one's going to be way too long off the right hand of Frances Wyrock. And we're evened up again at 19.
High school volleyball is a lot about error minimization. And unfortunately, we've seen an instance of these two balls. The hitter got a little bit too close to the volleyball and were unable to snap the ball down the end line. Same thing had happened to the Eagles player out of the middle there. Unfortunately, the physics of volleyball don't allow you to get topspin on it when you're that close to the ball.
Schiller with an ace, 20-19 Eagles.
This is a scary spot for Champlin Park right now. They need to side out immediately. Looks like Sampson's getting another swing out of the middle. Can't say enough about the Grace block tonight. It's been very, very effective. They have scouted the tendencies of Champlin Park very well.
And a timeout taken by John Yunker as his team, after leading for the early part of the second set, now trailing at 21-19 as another strong block by Grace. And the Eagles really looking to put some heat on if they can go up 2-0.
I'm interested to see how Champlin responds to a tight game. Whether they win or lose, they haven't been challenged much except for in that one loss to Marshall this year. We see margins except for the Centennial game, of 3-1, 3-0, 2-0. We'll see how they respond to a challenge. Clearly, Totino's here to play tonight. They've done a very, very good job of blocking, which has led to some pretty easy pickups along the back line. And then Hope Schiller has been pretty efficient tonight. OPAT has been very, very key for them as well. That offensive burden is not placed solely on the shoulders of Hope Schiller, and it makes it a lot easier for Totino to think like, all right, front row or back row with our offensive, number one weapon, we feel like we can score with another effective player always being at the net.
Schiller to serve again out of the timeout, see if they've cooled her off any after taking time. Hilly will come to the outside with it and put away there by Wyrock for Champlin Park, and they are to within a point now at 21-20. They needed that coming out of the timeout.
Great ball by Francis there. Finds a seam between the blockers.
Studelberg serving into the middle. Whoops, and that one, it was deflected.
Wow, that's tough. Again, the hitter got a little too close to the volleyball, contacted it closer to the wrist than anything, and, must have clipped the high hands of the blocking there.
Yeah, that one was a little lucky because it was definitely Ishin's ball was going to be way out. Hilly with the setter dump. Disguised it nicely, and the Rebels backed within a point.
Very prevalent in high school volleyball, especially when Hilly does that athletic move away from the net and then sends the ball back over the net. Very, very well done.
Sampson serving here. And denied in the middle. Caitlin Kearns with the block, Champlin Park. That might be one to remember here as the match goes on. Getting that point was pretty big for the Rebels.
Huge play for Champlin. Instead of 23-21, it's 22-22. At the end game, that's a huge difference right now in the score.
Long run, oops, and Hilly couldn't get there, so Kearns tried to play it but was quite tentative with it, and so the Eagles will get the point out of it, 23-22, and serving for Grace will be Dolly.
For Grace to challenge Sampson and the libero to receive, and then the ball to come to Alderson outside.
Pushed over here. Now they'll come to Opat, rolling it middle, and Alderson's pass gets away from her there. And now 24-22 as Grace has a shot at wrapping up another one.
Scary spot for Champlin Park right now. They have to execute. Definitely have to get an aggressive swing on this ball right here. Schiller with a great pickup. Here's a counterattack opportunity for Totino.
Hilly coming to the outside with it. Ooh, and a great effort to get to that ball. It was going to be in. Schiller from the back row. Alderson rolling it middle. Schiller gets there.
Great push by Hope here. Opat with a shot down the line.
Ooh, and just long.
Missed by a ball. Interesting to see if Totino Grace will take a timeout here. They're discussing it as a coaching staff. Looks like they're just going to roll with it. Two options here. We got Opat on the outside or Schiller out of the back row, depending on the pass quality. Looks like Opat.
And Opat at the end of the net with that one, and we're even up at 24 now.
Critical point here, and you know, this is a does statement, but the team that wins this point is very, very likely to carry the momentum on and win the game.
Tip to the outside, and that was a good decision ultimately by the sophomore Cruiser.
Very, very nice play. We'll take what the defense gives us there. Again, this is a scary spot for Champlin because Schiller comes back to the front row out of that rotation. If the Eagles can make a counterattack dig, look for Schiller to get the ball almost certainly and see if she can put the ball on the floor.
Outside to Hilly, it's blocked. Sampson to the floor to keep it alive. Now Alderson playing it over.
Here's Schiller for the game.
And blocked by Alderson, coming up big at crunch time there, 25 all.
That's a very, very good play by Alderson. Knowing her assignment is to stay on Schiller, get those hands up and over.
Alderson with the serve here for the Rebels.
Schiller again.
Schiller able to score it as Sampson couldn't get to that ball. Back to her outside. She was cheating in toward the middle.
Is that over line shot again? Schiller comes outside to in, turns that thumb up, hits the ball to the right side of Sampson. Very deceptive shot.
And Kraler able to get the ace, and Totino Grace will win it 27-25. It was back and forth, and all of a sudden a little anticlimactic there. Rebels unable to handle a serve, and so Totino Grace coming in here with a 5-6 record so far, getting the best of Champlin Park. So you get a look at this ace here by Maddie Kraler. Sampson unable to get that pass up. So Totino Grace is up by 2 now. We'll be back with our third set here on 12 Sports.
A Brooklyn Park church received some unwelcome visitors this past weekend.
Volunteers really do have their work cut out for them. They'll be inspecting 23,000 residential lots and city boulevards.
The problem began when the railroad decided to increase the train's speed. In the process, they had to raise a portion of the track over here.
Fire crews got a call around 4 Friday morning from a passerby alerting them to a deck fire.
This time, little lob for Winicky, trying to go up and get it. Touchdown!
Osseo, Crystal, and Plymouth. Channel 12 is your local source.
Intercepted. This one looks like it could go for the touchdown.
Reed puts it away and Hopkins advances.
Hello and welcome to a new season of Sports Champ.
Channel 12, your local source.
A lot of smiles in that huddle. Totino Grace on the road against a good team, looking good so far, winning the first 2 sets, 25-22, and then that one 27-25. So they have come in, and you know, you're seeing, I think, some young players growing up on the fly here tonight. I think especially for Grace, they've got some sophomores, some freshmen that have contributed, and you know, no better way than to get a good match on the road, especially to really get yourself into this team and into winning volleyball.
I thought Ishins and Cruiser have kind of been a key. We didn't talk about them a ton at the beginning of the match, but they certainly deserve a mention right now. They're doing a great job along the front of the net. They're fronting Champlin's most threatening hitter. Okay, and that's a very well-coached trait there, is they understand who the most threatening hitter for Champlin Park is and doing their best to stay in front of that hitter and force, a second or a third option for Champlin to beat them.
Hilly will serve to start our third set here for Champlin Park. And immediately serves up an ace.
Talked about adversity earlier too, Jay, and we'll see if Champlin Park can be the team that has pulled off some great wins, even down 2-0, okay? Can you be the best team you possibly can be, even in a tough spot down 0-2 here?
Tough pass to pull out of the net there. They do so, but Champlin Park will get a good opportunity to put points on the board here, a point on the board. Now it's Schiller.
You notice that every time Schiller gets an attack that she's not super comfortable with, she doesn't think the set is right in her wheelhouse. She will attack the ball to the right back and force Sydney Healy to play the first ball. That takes Champlin a little bit out of their offense and forces a non-setter to set the ball for Champlin Park. That's a pretty good strategy by Hope Schiller there.
Here's Schiller pounding this one right at Healy and gets the point for the Eagles, and they pull within 2-1.
It's a key concept. Every chance you get to put the ball in the right back when the setter is there. At worst, you're going to get a dig by the primary setter and force somebody else out of their comfort zone on the other team.
Hilly to Sampson in the middle, and that one is good.
Doing a good job hitting that ball high and long. Tall players sometimes like to pull that ball straight down like they're in hitting warm-ups. Use that advantage of your length to hit over the block and try to find the back part, undefended area of the court.
Schiller cross court, finds some space and puts it away.
Schiller shows you why she's such an effective hitter there, is she has the shot over line, she has the shot hard line. You have to respect that. And then when you move the block in to give her cross, she can take advantage of it.
Schiller with the serve off the net and will score the point, 3-3.
Tough chance here. Good reactions by the Champlin Park players, unfortunately. It's really hard to get your body moving backwards at full speed and send the ball over the net the other direction.
Ishins only too happy to take care of that overpass. Got up and timed it right, and the Rebels couldn't react.
Yeah, this doesn't show up in the stat sheet as an error, but I'm sure the libero for Champlin Park would like to have that one back.
And Champlin Park out of rotation, looks like.
Libero came off the court, and there's a little confusion as to where the replacement player should be standing. Number 8 was overlapped with Wyrock in serve receive, and that forced the violation for Champlin Park.
Schiller looking to continue rattling off a point or two here.
Great dig.
Alderson a swing, but they got to it now. Schiller going back toward the corner. And she'll score it there as Wyrock tried to make that overhand pass and couldn't do it.
3 kills early for Hope Schiller, and again, showing off the threat out of the front row as well as out of the pipe. We'll see if the Eagles don't let Hope Schiller swing away at will here the rest of this game and see if they can carry him across the finish line.
Dug up there by Kraler. Opat has to push it deep, and now the Rebels get a chance to score. But Alderson had got a little tight to that ball and just didn't get a good swing on it as it wasn't set exactly where she was looking for.
A little timing issue there, and Alderson tried to make lemonade out of lemons, and unfortunately is just unable to clear the net.
Alderson pushing it over here to the corner. Nice effort to get there by Wyrock. And there's another block for Ishins. She has been solid at the net.
Summers helping out there too.
Not extremely tall. Maybe doesn't jump out of the gym, but her timing is great.
Yeah, I've been really impressed by the net play by Totino Grace. And middle blocker, even though she didn't touch that ball, she came all the way over and closed the block, made that pin blocker's job very much easier.
Yeah, Izzy Summers getting that block as they were both in good position.
Free ball here for Champlin.
Alderson sending it over, but a good response opportunity here. Summers down the line. Now the other way, dug up. Here's Schiller looking for the middle.
Uh-oh.
They almost let that one drop. And then Ishans ultimately gets that point. Boy, they're just doing the right things to create their own breaks here too.
It's that game flow issue. One blocker up because of the speed of the Totino attack there. One-on-one, the hitter wins almost all the time.
Schiller continuing to serve strong.
Good dig by Kraler there.
Kristen Berry was in there, got that swing for Champlin Park, and the Rebels fighting, and it'll drop in. Well, maybe that's the one Champlin Park needed to get them going a little bit. They win a scrambling point.
Definitely needed to stop the bleeding. And this is an athletic reactionary play there by Sampson. Just sticks that hand out, and their teammates never quitting on the play. That's a very good sign for Champlin Park if they're going to resuscitate their chances here.
You could almost see the Eagles in the back going, please go out, and it didn't.
Schiller out of the back row again.
Pounds that one away.
Yeah, I would imagine this kid is going to get at least a dozen attempts. And if she can end up with 8 kills right in that neighborhood by the end of the game, I would put the victory chances in the Totino column very, very high.
Hilly over to Berry, and that one denied as Summers and Cruiser getting over there again.
There's that blocking combo again, and they recognize that the ball is going to come to the pin because of the pass quality. They get out there, front the hitter, forearms in the air. Very, very well done again.
11-4 lead here for Grace. Hilly dumping it over. Schiller got there. They collide a little bit and get it over. Wow. There is a kind of it's not our night play if you're Champlin Park, and it is our night if you're Totino Grace.
Wow, this is just a great play by Totino to scramble to get that ball out there. And, you know, like you said, sometimes the cookie crumbles your way and sometimes it doesn't. This looks like there may be obstacles other than Totino Grace in Champlin Park's way right now.
Nice block there by Kearns, and you get back in at one point at a time. That's what they've got to be thinking right now, and Kearns did a solid job here.
It's a good spot for Champlin Park to maybe sustain a little bit of a run here. They've got 2 very good hitters in the front row, and they've got Schiller buried in the back row for one more rotation. See if they can put 2 or 3 together.
Knocked over, Rebels scramble, but that one is wide. And a point here for Totino Grace, so they end it out. They don't give up anything off that serve. They get it right back, 13-5, and now Dolly will serve. And I think it's got to be a frustrating night for that guy, John Junker. I don't think he probably expected what we're seeing coming in. Obviously respects what Totino Grace can bring, but
wow.
And there'll be another little bit of a fortunate one there. Dolly hustling after it, and the Rebels caught flat-footed.
Yeah, this is a body language issue right now for Champlin Park, and all the hustle plays are going the way of Totino Grace, which tells you that they are a little bit more invested in the outcome of plays right now. Totino is hustling after balls, they're hitting the floor, and they're very engaged in what is happening right now. This is a ball that comes over on one, and no Champlin player goes for the volleyball before it's too late.
Keep in mind, both teams get back into action, busy weeks for them too, so you know you don't have a long time to celebrate a win here tonight. You also don't have a long time to stew about a loss, because they'll jump back onto the court for Tuesday and Thursday matches, both of them, and then tournament coming up later in the week for Grace. So
Totino will be down at the Chanhassen tournament this weekend, and I'll get another look at them, this time not commentating, coaching in that tournament. And you know, like we said earlier, you know, they've proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with right now. They got 2 outside hitters that are very effective. They got a scrappy defense, and they've got very good net play. It's a pretty good combination.
Sampson and powers that one too long. Point for the Eagles, 15-5. And Carl will let you talk about your program briefly. Huge week last week, beating Wayzata and Hopkins in the same week, which Minnetonka hasn't been able to do for a while, it sounds like.
Well, we were very fortunate to win 2 very hotly contested matches, both in the 5th game, and the scores of the 5th game will tell you the story, 18-16 and 21-19. I thought all 3 teams played well in that contest. The Minnetonka versus Wayzata match. Can't say enough about the way Wayzata played volleyball. Very, very well coached, very, very strong program perennially. Very fortunate to get a win at Wayzata. And then Hopkins on Thursday night, same thing. I thought both teams played dynamite. In fact, Hopkins went on to beat number 2 Lakeville North this last weekend at the Apple Valley tournament, to tell you the level of play that Hopkins is at right now. So, couldn't be more happy as a coach for the kids. They played very hard, and they deserve to have some success to show for it.
Wyrock pounding it off the block here as they didn't get that ball turned back toward the court. It winds up near the bench here, so 16-7. Rebels facing a big uphill battle, but getting a nice point there. Peterson serving for Champlin Park. First pass, not a real good one, but they will at least get it over.
I imagine Coach Hosker-Smith talked to Tino in that last time out about, listen, this is a great start to the game. It's not a finish to the game by any means. We got to make sure that we cross that finish line with a full head of steam and not try to die and have our momentum take us there.
16-8 as Schiller tried to go down the line with that one, but was wide. And make it 16-9, another strong serve, and momentum can turn in a hurry in volleyball, and Grace right now, I'm sure, is starting to get a little bit nervous. I mean, yeah, they won the first 2, and they're still, got a nice lead here, but for their sake, they need to regain control here. Not that way, though. Great block by Krimble in the middle.
Lots of flow problems for Totino right now, which makes them very predictable. I know they do want to get the majority of chances out to Hope Schiller there, but as you can see, well fronted by the double block. Very, very tough to ask Schiller to beat that. 4 hands, very well fronted there.
And there's another point for Champlin Park as Peterson serves up an ace. She has come in and delivered some clutch serves here when they really needed them badly. 3 points in a row.
Yeah, it's a little scary spot for Totino to be in right now. There's some good game flow right there. Timing as well. Unfortunately, Schiller's having a hard time dealing with that double block right now. She's got to go back to what was successful early, challenging outside hand on the line or challenging outside hand on the cross court.
Krimble, I think, got the majority of this one again here in the middle. Yes, she did.
Yeah, I mean, that's the inside hand of the block. It's very, very hard to be successful there. Another shot for Champlin Park to counterattack.
Here's Sampson.
Sampson on the outside again.
Off the block, but dug up. Eagles will get a crack at it. Here comes Schiller, going to roll it to the middle, but Sampson gets there. Diving play to keep that one alive. Now Schiller again rolling. And that'll be the 4th hit there on the Rebels as that ball, just an instinct play, reached out and got a piece of it there. So the Eagles finally break the string as Champlin Park had put, I think, 6 in a row up on the board.
That's a bam-bam play, and it's really hard unless that's clearly communicated to understand if the blocker touched the ball or not.
Well, the Rebels didn't appear too ready on that one. There was quite a bit of court open in the back corner, and Maddie Kraler finds it.
That's an unusual serve-receive set right now. They have Francis Wyrock all the way over. The setter's in the left back, and it looks like they're trying to disguise which lane Sampson's going to be hitting out of.
Sampson sending it over. Now Schultz setting for Schiller. Off the ceiling, it takes a quick bounce, but they recover. Schultz coming to Eichens, and she puts it away. Eichens has been mainly a weapon as a blocker, but getting some key swings on the ball as well.
This time she's behind the ball, and it makes it a lot easier for her to contact the top of the volleyball. She had a couple attempts earlier, just got too close and wristed that ball deep. She's had a sneaky good game for Totino, honestly. It's a lot of fun to see a player with an opportunity as a senior to get out there and run around full time. Coach has a lot of trust in her. I know that for a fact, and that's evidenced by the chance to get out there and start at middle tonight. And I think she's paid off the coach's trust with a great effort for her team tonight.
Again, not over yet, but I'm guessing the Grace staff has to be pretty elated. I mean, as a coach, you probably don't get too carried away, and you don't want your players to get too high up. But I think it seems like this probably has got to be one of the better matches that they've been able to show so far this year.
Yes, this could be a very nice feather in their hat, and like that momentum builder that Champlin Park had against Roseville right out of the chute. This could be a very good match to look at down the road if Totino really improves their record down the road. Maybe the confidence coming out tonight will kind of propel them a little bit.
And they have played a pretty tough schedule. I mean, they're probably, I think you'd have to say, a pretty good 5-6 team coming in. They've played. Their conference isn't especially tough, but only 3 of their matches have been conference. They've played some other pretty good schools outside of that.
Yeah, it's a fair statement that records can be deceiving, and strength of schedule has a lot to do with, one-loss records, and it's tricky to understand where a team is at until you see them matched up against another quality team like tonight.
Studelberg serving here for the Rebels. They're down by 7. Schiller goes back deep middle with it. Off the block, great effort, but unable to keep that ball up was Kastenmeyer, and the Rebels get to within 6 points here on a 20-14.
It's a great push here by number 3, and if you're a junior varsity volleyball player, an aspiring varsity volleyball player, understand that your coach demands of you that you go for the ball, and coaches universally understand that you're not going to get every ball, but the standard is if you can go for every volleyball, that's going to go a long way towards you kind of realizing that dream of being a varsity volleyball player someday.
Schiller hitting the line on that one, so a 7-point advantage here for Totino Grace. And that ball hit the floor, I think, or no?
Ball handling violation on Janae Alderson. That going back to that flow thing again, it looks very disjointed for Champlin. They're having a hard time getting an aggressive swing, and it seems like Totino can get an aggressive swing basically whenever they want to.
And that one, a kill for Wyrock as it was played in the back, and I think Kastenmeyer was just not sure whether this ball was touched up front, so she ends up trying to play it, and obviously clearly would have been out by that point, but she wasn't sure.
I think Kastenmeyer read it right. It looked to me like the ball did come off high hands on the block, and she was forced to go ahead and try to play the volleyball there.
Rebels, not a whole lot of margin for error anymore. Wyrock, though, will deliver an ace. Grace caught standing and looking at that one, dropping in the middle, and it's a 5-point score.
Be interested to see after 2 short if Francis Wyrock goes deep and challenges the seam between the libero and the middle back. Back to the shorty.
Why mess with success, it looked like on that one. They'll come to the middle here, and that one blocked but wide. And it's a 4-point lead now for Grace.
There's that flow issue again. Totino's having a hard time controlling that first ball, and they're scrambling to get it over. Looks like Champlin Park is doing a much better job of controlling the first one and playing aggressively on the third contact.
22-19, Wyrock ripping off a nice run of serves here, and Coach Hockersmith not happy with the way they've responded to these serves.
Here comes Schiller. Let's see if she can stop the bleeding.
Sampson able to dig that one up. They'll come back out to Maria Sampson. Back for Schiller, off the tape, and a scramble. They'll get to it.
Really athletic play there.
And Sampson rolling it into an open spot in the middle, and the Rebels storming back to within 2.
Yeah, here's a timeout by Totino Grace, and Sampson there seeing the court well, understanding that middle was open, just rolling the ball over the top of the block and taking what the defense will give her.
No question, they've got some momentum and some confidence coming back here. It's still a long road back, but you're never out of it. And they got going, I think, at just the right time there, too. Obviously, Grace closing in, you get over 20, you get to 22, and it starts to get a little scary. But now they've really narrowed that gap before that Grace could really put it out of reach.
Can Totino Grace convince himself that they're the same team that had a huge margin in Game 3 and the same team that won Set 1 and Set 2? That'll be the psychological ploy, hopefully, by Coach Hockersmith, is getting them to understand that because they're on a bad side of a run right now, they are still the same volleyball team.
They'll go to Schiller, and she'll get it done. As Wyrock not able to pass that ball, so 23-20 now for Grace.
In a nutshell, that's who Totino Grace is as a team. Control the ball well, set the ball well, let Hope Schiller kind of be the bell cow on offense there. Great swing.
And Schiller will serve. Her team 2 points away from a sweep.
Look for Sampson on the backside here. Oh no, that's a replay here. The referee, Tim Harlow, is going to whistle Champlin Park for a back row attack. Number 4 is actually in the front row setting right now. And the gun got jumped, so to speak. This is interesting why Sydney Hilly is not in the volleyball game right now. If there's an injury or if there's another issue that Champlin Park is trying to work through right now, but it seems strange that you would be asking your team to come back right now without one of your better players on the court.
Strong block there. Rebels to within 2, and Sampson will serve. They'll come out to Summers, right side, and blocked again. Kearns getting there for the Rebels, and they're to within a point.
Again, great play at the net. 4 hands, united block, hands across the net, sealing it. This is going to come down on the wire here, Jay.
Here's Opat.
Really like to see Opat go for it there. She had a ton of success. She got a decent set, and she decided to go for the finesse shot as opposed to the athletic swing.
And Kearns pounds it home here for the Rebels. They tie it up at 23.
Who is going to get a kill for Totino Grace right now? They have Schiller in the back row. Opat's been solid all night. See if she has the confidence to go for it again.
Sampson with the short serve. They barely get there.
Opat sets it over again. Another counterattack opportunity for Champlin Park.
They'll come to the right, and a misfire there for Dolly. And now the Rebels to within a point of battling back to keep it alive.
Here's another lesson for aspiring varsity volleyball players. If you have a chance at the end of a game or in a pressure spot to go for it, you go for it. And the finesse shot is great, and there's times in the game for that, but every coach will want to see you attempt your absolute best. That's why you're in the game in the front row, is to hit and affect the game. And if you make a decision to go for it, your coach and teammates will very much be appreciative of your efforts there.
So really it felt like maybe for one of the first times tonight, Grace tightening up a little bit right now, where they has started to feel the pressure and making some mistakes that they hadn't really been making all night.
This is clearly not the same team with a big margin of point spread versus a team under pressure. And they're struggling right now. They don't know who is going to get a kill for them right now. They've gotten very tentative, and we'll see if Schiller gets the ball regardless of the pass quality here. She hasn't swung out of the back row yet this rotation. Seems like Totino would want to go down with their best player hitting.
Sampson trying to keep this run alive here and win it for the Rebels. Scramble, players hitting the court. They're able to get it over.
Another chance for Opat.
This time she'll swing and get the point. Rebels keep fighting and almost got that one over, but it'll be evened up at 24.
It's a great job by Opat there just to go for it. Let it rip. She challenged outside hand on the middle. Got a goofy ball out here. Great pancake dig there by Brenna Walton. And Champlin Park very nearly had a scramble point there.
They'll go to Sampson from the back.
Comes Schiller out of the pipe.
Scramble to get to it here. And Eagles able to recover. They'll play a free ball over. Just dug up there. Here's Schiller again. Long point. Sampson a swing off the block. Schiller dives to keep it. Here's Opat. They'll come right back to Sampson and not able to get it over, and a long point goes Grace's way there, 25-24. And now Ishins to serve for the Eagles.
Uh-oh.
Tough pass.
Great play by Sampson.
Keeps it alive, and they just get it over. tip, and that one's blocked. Great play by Opat, keeps it alive. Now dumped over, they get it back. Boy, these teams are fighting hard late. Here's Sampson. Pounds it home, and we're even up at 25.
It's a lot of guts by Sampson there to take a big swing out of the back row. She had just made a hitting error on the ball before, and she decided that she was going to take a chance and do what the coach asked. Coach is asking her to be a threat offensively, even out of the back row. That's why Sampson's in there. She came up huge.
They'll go to Schiller. Pass tight to the net and punched over.
It's a very athletic play by the setter there. Tough ball.
Opat has it denied.
Great cover there by Maddie Kraler.
Into the middle and put away by Kearns. Champlin Park up by a point.
I think Coach John Younger has done a great job of keeping his team calm throughout this. John's kind of being a leader by example right now, but understanding that Champlin Park is not fundamentally a different team with a leader behind. These kids have really responded to that coaching right now.
Sampson will push it over here. Eagles will get a chance. To the middle, and a block by the Rebels, and they have rallied back coming off the deck to win this third set. 27-25. Boy, it didn't look like there was much hope of staying alive, but they were able to do it. Down 16-8 at one point, and they fight back and scratch out a 27-25 win, and we will go to a fourth set. Another look at that point that got it done with the block there by Alderson. And the Rebels have life. We'll be back with our fourth set here from Champlin Park in just a moment.
Behind the wheel, there is no such thing as a small distraction. A public service reminder from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons. Speak out against distracted driving at decidetodrive.org.
And now, another adventure with Savings Man.
This is great. Every day should be like this.
It will be when I retire in a few years. I've been planning and saving. Did you save for me?
Well, this is unexpected.
Where'd you come from? Out of the blue, just like an illness, an emergency, or
That's enough, Mr. Unexpected.
Savings Man.
There's still time to plan. Find out how at choose2save.org with a ballpark estimate worksheet.
I will. Thanks, Savings Man.
No, thank you.
So visit choose2save.org today.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. If you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Just a reminder, kids who participate in high school activities tend to go a little farther than those who don't. Take part. Get set for life.
And welcome back to Champlin Park. We've got more volleyball for you, and look how close we've been the first three. Totino Grace won 25-22 and then pulled out a 27-25. Third set, they were up 16-8, and you thought there was not a lot of chance for Champlin Park, but they came back, kept fighting, got up off the deck, have the momentum now, certainly, after pulling out that 27-25 win. If you're Totino Grace, you try and snap out of it and get back to the way you had been playing for most of the match. And Champlin Park, though, they got to be, their confidence has got to have taken a big turn upward there late in that third set.
Let's credit Frances Wyrock with that big service run. She was placing those balls well. That was coming from the bench, as that zone they wanted to go after. And that was a great job of coaching and a great job of executing by Francis. I thought Janae Alderson had some big plays across the net, especially that game-ending tip. She kind of stayed with her blocking assignment, got those hands across the net. What happens on the tip so often is you get your hands straight up and down, ball hits your hand, falls straight down on your side. I think the discipline there was very good. And I'll go back to that leadership aspect of the Champlin Park coaching staff. They stayed calm. They could have blown their stack probably about 3 or 4 different times in that game 3, but I think they did a great job of leading by example.
And to start this one, it rolls just wide. Schultz got it to crawl over the net, but falls beyond the court. So the Rebels will try and get something going right away here.
They're doing this all without Sydney Hilly on the court, too, who's been absent from the lineup since sometime in Game 3. And, I don't know if it's an injury situation or what it is, but Champlin's got to feel really good about that as one of their key players is out. And as a team, they're putting together a real strong effort here in Game 3 and 4.
Here's Hilly serving. Or excuse me, Schiller serving. And 2-1 lead now for Grace.
It's a big swing by Sampson here. Unfortunately, she got caught with her elbow low, tried to go over line and deposited it right in the middle of the net.
And we're even up at 2 apiece. Yeah, there's a look at Hilly, who's wearing the sunglasses indoors, which would lead you to believe, maybe headaches or concussion type thing, or, just don't want to speculate, but obviously there's a reason why she's put the sunglasses on and why she's not in the match right now.
Yeah, and whatever the reason is, it would take a team of wild horses to drag her off the court if she had any say in it. She's a tough kid and a competitor, and this is definitely a coaching decision. And you know what? When players are injured or have anything going on where it's silly to risk exacerbating that injury, I think the smart thing by the coach is to go ahead and pull the player, no matter what part of or what percentage of your team's success relies upon that kid being in the lineup.
Got a lineup issue, it looks like, for Champlin Park.
Yeah, this is sometimes a little bit difficult when a player exits the game mid-match and you're so used to standing next to player X and player Y goes and serves after her, and now you have a new face and a new serving order, and it's difficult. People make mistakes, coaches make mistakes, kids make mistakes. That's part of sports, but the issue is how do you react to a mistake? How do you react to a poor performance? Okay, that tells you a lot about who your team is. The challenge for Totino right now is how to react to giving a game away in Game 3 there. Can you be the same team you were in 1 and 2? And the challenge for Champlin Park now is, can you be the team that came roaring back in the second half of Game 3? Or is some more of that Game 1 and Game 2 Champlin Park Rebel team going to show up?
Now let's see if they're going to adjust the score. They must have served with the wrong.
Yep. Candy Colbo's over there, and we got the score correct. Right now it should reflect Totino Grace up 3-2.
Yep. Eischen serving on Champlin Park.
And now another position fault, and this is on the third middle. The overlap issue is with the setter standing in between the libero and the right back right now. And the overlap issue happened when those two players were on the wrong side of the setter.
So Grace getting a couple of free points, really. Here's Sampson smoking it down the line, and she'll get to serve back for her team here. Now trailing it 4-3.
Big swing by Sampson. Whenever you challenge the outside hand on the block, lots of good stuff can happen. She missed the outside hand completely and just torched that thing down the line.
Opat has it denied. Boy, Kearns has come through with a lot of blocks here tonight for the Rebels.
Doing a good job, and the net play for both teams has been strong. Here's a challenge to the inside part of the block, and conversely, lots of bad things happen when you attempt to force the ball there. Wow,
Kearns getting back-to-back blocks for the Rebels.
This is a very well-disciplined play by Kearns. Her job is to front the middle. The middle goes and runs a 31 away from the setter when typically they've been running on the setter. Kearns sees that, fronts the middle, gets those hands across, and shuts the play down at the net.
Opat getting a swing, but it's dug up. Wyrock sending it over. And Summers goes down the line and sneaks it in. Summers hasn't played a ton, but she's come through with some key moments here as a freshman.
Great shot by Summers, challenging outside hand again. Lots of good stuff is going to happen, okay? Sampson's a huge block coming over. Sneaks that ball down the line. Very well done.
Dolly with the serve, and it's an ace for the Eagles. They go back in front at 6-5.
They are definitely forcing Sampson to handle the ball and serve receive. And this does a couple of things. One, it upsets her timing, hitting out of the front row. And two, it makes their offense a little bit more one-dimensional if she can't put the ball right on the setter's head.
And near collision there as Wyrock and Sampson. And that resulted in a hit into the net by Wyrock there. So 7-5 lead for Totino Grace. Eliza Dolly with the floater.
Going after Sampson again.
They'll come to Opat. Dug up nicely by Wyrock. And that one is wide. Played over, so 8-5 lead. Grace seems to have not really been too rattled by the way the lead dissolved in that third set.
Yeah, I like the body language right now on the Totino side. I like the execution happening. The call from the bench is to attack Sampson and serve receive and try to upset her timing coming out and hitting there. Sampson counters that by putting a beautiful serve receive ball on top of the setter's head, transitioning and then challenging outside hand to the near court. And actually she found seam there. And it's just a really, really high shot and a really hard shot.
Rebels down by 2 as Peterson serves and wide left.
That will drive a coach crazy sometimes if you feel like you're building a little momentum and we miss a serve. It's part of the game. Every athlete makes mistakes. How do you respond to it right now as a team for Champlin Park?
Kastenmeyer to serve here for the Eagles. And ring up another point here. And, as well as Totino Grace was playing early, I think especially in the first set, Champlin Park was making a lot of mistakes, and they were able to credit the Eagles. They capitalized on them, and that's what they're hoping to get back to here in this fourth one.
Yeah, they're having a tough time in serve receive right now, and they're having a hard time specifically centering the volleyball on serve receive. And coaches universally ask their players on serve receive to play that ball in the center of their body. That way, if they make a mistake, which is part of the game, mistakes are going to happen all the time, at very least the ball will be playable up in front of you. When we don't center the ball and we turn to the side, we get big-time problems such as sending the ball outside the court, backwards, or into the floor. Great middle attack by Champlin Park there, and we're talking about serve receive quality. They did a very good job of centering the ball. Very good job of executing on the one.
Sampson serving here for the Rebels. And Schiller will get it over. Wyrock off the block, and it's going to drop to the court. Eagles didn't quite get coverage there behind that. It ball was in the air seemingly long enough, but they weren't quite in position.
Miscommunication by the off-blocker defender on the right side and the libero. Both players made a start for the ball. Nobody called it.
They'll come to Schiller, cross court. Nice dig there by Studelberg.
Good set.
And Barry gets a kill here for Champlin Park. Good. She hasn't played a whole lot, and good to see confidence. The last time she hit it was out by a couple feet, but this time comes right back.
Shelly Peterson is doing it right now. She's being asked to set 6 rotations for Champlin Park, which is something she's unaccustomed to, and she's leading that team and doing a fantastic job of placement right now.
Sampson was serves into the net there, so Eagles up by 3, and serve here for Kraler.
It's another rotation fault.
Yeah, what is it? This got to be at least, I think, 3 or 4 points that they've really just given away.
This time, I believe it's the middle front and the middle back, meaning the libero is too far in front of the outside hitter on the side there. either way, that three middle offense, especially when we get a player exiting during the course of the game, makes it a little bit tricky to remember, okay, who do I stand next to? Who do I serve after?
Nice block again here by Eichens for Totino Grace.
Eichens fronting the middle again, doing a great job of sealing the net. Here's another rotation fault.
Ouch.
John Junker is definitely questioning right now, not necessarily the validity of the call. He's questioning the lineup. He asked the first time for the referee to get them lined up properly after the violation happened. He thought his team responded to the lineup correction. Apparently they didn't. Apparently they still had some kind of overlap happening, and that's got to be frustrating right now as a coach.
So the Eagles up by 6 as the Rebels take that timeout, and obviously first and foremost they got to get things squared away on the serve receive.
John's doing a good job of that right now, and I really like the calm demeanor he's coaching his kids with right now. It's very, very easy as a coach to lose your temper. It's very, very easy as a coach to be overcorrective. If you're asking your team to remain calm and just be who you are right now, okay, by example, if the coach can keep their cool and just be the person and the coach they are, I think that goes a long way to getting what he wants out of the players.
Kraler to serve here for Grace coming out of that timeout. They'll come to the outside, and too strong. Ball not tipped there. Wyrock just not able to keep it on the court, so the lead goes back to 7. This is just about where we were, though, in the third set, and Champlin Park rallied to win.
Francis tried to go high hands there. It's a good aggressive shot. Unfortunately missed by about an inch.
Another block by Eichens. This time, though, the Rebels recover. Schiller will send it over on the second ball.
Well, risky reversal there. Hitter not quite ready to approach and hit. Setter felt like we could reverse the flow of the play and try to sneak in a right side attack. Fortunately, the location and the surprise of it just kind of resulted in a busted play.
And she surprised her teammate as much as the opposition there. And let's see, can they dig that one out and keep it going? Yes, apparently so.
I think that was dug off of her shoulder/face on the trickle block here. Funny block English happening. Ball comes off her shoulder and her face. Teammate plays it up alertly. Double contact is good on the first one, and point for the Eagles on a very unconventional ball.
And there's Eichens with another block, and all of a sudden Champlin Park can't seem to get the offense going. They've just been denied on several different spots. 19-9 Eagles. Timeout taken here by Champlin Park.
Well, we saw this movie before in Game 3, and Totino opened up a big margin. Champlin Park got calmed down. They decided that they were going to, try to execute to the best of their ability. Let's see if that message can get across one more time from the Champlin Park coaching staff.
Something feels different about it this time, though. I mean, obviously it's hard to do that twice. You don't ever want to have to fight that far back, and they're right now just don't look like a confident team out there.
Yeah, I think body language is really instructive. If you look at the body language over on the Totino Grace side versus the body language over on the Champlin Park side, I like to say to the team sometimes, if a stranger walked in off the street to watch this point of volleyball, could they tell who was ahead and who was behind simply by the body language of the teams?
Peterson dumping that one over to stop the bleeding a little bit here, and the lead is now 19-10. Studelberg to serve here for the Rebels.
Ton of positive for Peterson being asked to do, a non-conventional role. And that's 6 rotations. It's a lot of pressure for that player to do something that they weren't asked to do at the start of the night, but now are being asked to do on the fly.
This is a net violation against Champlin Park. This hit is wide, but the Rebels were in the net. So another kind of a point given away, so to speak.
Can't say enough about the net play of Totino Grace tonight. I mean, just really, really doing a good job of fronting the most threatening hitter and making sure they have a unified block in front of her.
Got the first block, but then the Rebels not trying to do too much here and just dropped it over. Eichens, they were trusting her as a single block, but really didn't cover very well behind.
Yeah, at a certain point, the off-blocker defenders have to support the blocker there on anything short.
Here's Schiller smoking it away. Let's see, net violation, though, against Grace on the follow-through there. I knew somebody hit the net. I just wasn't entirely sure who.
I think Schiller stuck the ball into the pin there, and that caused the whole works to start wobbling around. Good aggressive swing on a set that was not exactly placed where the setter had intended. See if Champlin Park can do something here on the counterattack.
Alderson tipping, and this is starting to look familiar.
Like I said, we saw this movie earlier, Jay, and see if Champlin Park can sustain some momentum.
Down 20-13, but they battled back from a similar spot in our third set. Make it 20-14.
Wow. And let's look at body language once again. Looks like we got a little pep in the step happening over here on the Champlin Park side. Totino kids look a little bit glazed over right now, especially considering that they had great body language coming out of timeout about 2 minutes ago.
Walton to serve another one up here for the Rebels. This time a better pass. Here's Schiller.
Tough call. Block got a little bit aggressive and clipped the top of the net while trying to press those hands over. Alderson's not happy with the call. Unfortunately, it's part of being an athlete. You play aggressively, you're going to make some mistakes.
So Schiller will serve here, up by a touchdown at 21-14. And make it 22. Studelberg scrambled, got her hand underneath it, but they just couldn't keep it up.
Tough serve here. Ball drops. Champlin Park libero makes a good push for the volleyball, but unfortunately it's a little bit of a scramble play.
Walton coming over to the left side there for Miller. Now Opat.
Good push there by Champlin Park libero. Sampson on the counterattack.
Yeah, that's a great dig, though, by Schiller. And then a block, though, by Alderson for Champlin Park.
Janae's a great athlete, and she's out there hitting and blocking. And, we mentioned before that Janae is actually a 200 average bowler. She's the kind of kid that can just pick up any sport, and seems like she's kind of a natural, so to speak.
And Summers able to wipe that one off the block and score the point here for Totino Grace.
It's a good challenge there, again, on the outside hand of the block. Lots of good stuff can happen.
Laura Eischen serving here for the Eagles. They'll come to Sampson on the left, and too strong. That'll make it 24-15. Eagles this time look like they're not going to give up the lead.
I believe the fat lady is warming up, Jay.
They'll come back over to Sampson and gets the job done here. 24-16, still alive.
Big bang by Sampson there. Very well executed. Good first contact. Very good location on the set. Coming through the back row setting there for Champlin Park is Brenna Walton. She did a very nice job off the bench with location.
Alderson putting in play. To the outside and off the block and good. Summers gets the kill, and the Totino Grace Eagles come into Champlin Park's gym and win it in 4. Grace really coming through with a nice performance here this evening. They let one slip away in the third, and you wondered, would they be able to snap back into place, and they certainly did, and came up with a solid performance all night long here, Carl.
Yeah, Totino got a second chance in Game 4 to close the match out. I certainly think that whatever went wrong for them at the end of Game 3 got corrected in Game 4. Credit the coaching staff, credit the kids for taking that instruction and getting out on the floor and making it happen.
Champlin Park, not their best performance of the year, and there's no doubt the losing Hilly during the match certainly altered things for them a little bit as well. They got to look to quickly bounce back as they get a district rival and one of the better teams in the Northwest Suburban Blaine on Tuesday night. Well, we hope you've enjoyed tonight's matchup here. 4 good ones, and it is Totino Grace evening. They're a record now at 6-6 with a 4-game victory here over Champlin Park, just the second loss of the season for the Rebels. For Carl Katzenberger and all of our 12 Sports crew, thanks for watching high school volleyball. I'm Jay Wilcox. Good night from Champlin Park High School.
Sports.